Hey guys, Kyle here, back today with another video. This one's going to be a little bit different from the gameplay stuff. Today we're going to be talking about drawing. This is going to be the first one that I'm going to do, the first drawing video that I'm going to do. I'll have a couple more that I have planned. But for today I just wanted to start with what are the basics of drawing, the very basics of drawing that anyone needs to get started. So I wanted to start with a couple of different things. We're going to do some really basic, we're going to go over the shapes, the 5 basic shapes. We're going to go over basic perspective, and then we're going to go over basic color theory. Again, I'm not like an expert in any of this kind of stuff, just letting you know the stuff that I've learned and kind of the stuff that has worked for me and some of the techniques that I do for when I'm drawing stuff. And hopefully it'll be helpful for you. So let's go ahead and start with the 5 basic shapes. So the 5 basic shapes are as follows. You have a dot, just any circular shape that is filled in like so. And you have a circle, which is just a circular shape. It doesn't have to be a circle, it can also be like a weird round shape, but any kind of round shape that's not filled in is going to be your circle. Then you have your straight line, so it's going to be 1, 2, straight line is going to be 3, that's literally just any straight line. Curved line, so that could be a curved line like this, or it can be 2 curved lines that kind of mesh. So this part right here is a curved line, and this part right here is a curved line, right? So, but together they make one long curved line, and then you can combine long curved lines into circles. So what you do here is you have this whole bit right here is one curved line. This bit right here is a curved line. And then this bit is a curved line. So you actually have 3 curved lines that make up this circle. So that'll be your 4th is curved lines, and then your 5th, it's kind of a cheat, but it's still called the 5th basic shape, is an angle line. So any kind of angle that you have that's not just a straight line, it's going to be at an angle, which really is just one, 2 straight lines connecting at some point, but it's still called an angle line. So that's the very basic of shapes. So with that, one of the things you can do is you can learn how to start drawing different shapes. This, if you use just these shapes, dot, circle, straight line, curved line, and angle line, you can draw anything with just these 5 shapes. For instance, just a basic smiley face is going to be a circle, 2 dots, an angle line, and a curved line. There you go. We used, and then a straight line. Straight lines for the little body. There we go. So we used all 5 pieces, all 5 basic shapes, and we got a little happy man out of it. So after you start doing that, what I like to do is draw perspective. I used to do this by drawing blocky Minecraft characters. So I would draw straight lines like this to create a square, or angle lines, whichever one. Then I would draw just like this, and I would practice drawing cubes because cubes are kind of fun to draw. Now you could draw this in a variety of ways. You can draw like just what I did because I have a little bit of practice. I don't have to draw all the extra lines, but a lot of times what you'll need to do is you need to draw a square, and then you draw another square that's the same size but like offset, and then you can connect these lines here and you have like a transparent cube. And then you can draw something that's got a bit longer on the top, and you've got kind of a rectangular looking package like so. And then when you start to learn how the 3D objects would look if you put them onto a 2-dimensional page. For instance, like if you're going to draw a sphere, you might draw something like this. You draw a circle with some curved lines in it, and you've got this kind of orb shape, and then you can like shade the bottom of it and like this, and then it kind of looks more like a 3-dimensional shape. So that's how you kind of are drawing perspective. Foreshortening basically is like everything is shrinking into what's called a vanishing point. So if you have, the easiest way to illustrate this is with like a city skyline. So you've got two buildings here, right? And you've got your windows in them, hurrah. And then you say your vanishing point is right here on the horizon. So this is the horizon of the earth. That's your vanishing point. These are your foremost buildings. So everything basically goes in lines towards the vanishing point. So then you have more buildings here that are kind of poking out from behind, and then these go here. Everything is towards the vanishing point. So if you just draw a vanishing point and the lines going out from it, you can tell where you need to draw your buildings, and then this can go here, and you've got the side of a building, and then this can go here. You've got another side of a building, and then you can draw the front of it. I'm trying to do it so you guys can see, but I'm just not going to do that. I'm just going to draw, and then you can look at it as I flip it around so that you can actually see it. And then you have your drawing here, and then you have this at the same angle as your vanishing point lines. So you have this angle here, and then this angle here. So you have these two lines are parallel, and then these two lines are parallel, these two right here. That's what's gonna, actually I really should have done, since it's over the top half, I really should have done this at this angle, just so that everything is pointing down to the vanishing point, if that makes sense. That's just a little bit of perspective, and you start to do perspective a lot with a bunch of different things, but drawing boxy buildings all vanishing to a point in like the center of your art space is a really easy way to practice it. That's how I learned how to do perspective for a lot of different things. Let me try to actually find some of my drawings that I did to practice drawing cubes. All right, here we go. Old art book. Let me go through. So here are a couple that I did. This is when I was on the Percy Jackson kick. Got a couple of characters from the Olympian series. Some of these aren't as good. I just didn't care about them as much, but this is the one that I worked the hardest on. That was probably the best. Now see, I've got a lot of, it's nowhere near as good as it would be as if I drew it now, simply because I have so much more practice. This was 2.5 years ago that I drew this. So you see how I've got this square here, and it's vanishing and it's going this way, kind of away from the camera. Same thing with this cube. It's got just a little slight angle on it, so you can see this side of it here, and then the top is here, and then the front of the cube is here. Doing stuff like this allowed me to learn how to draw cubes, so drawing that, drawing all these cubes here, because I was doing Percy Jackson but in a Minecraft style was the thing that I was doing, and it allowed me to practice drawing cubes but also get something fun out of it at the end, which is why it was so much fun to do. I have some other cube drawings, I believe. Oh yeah, here it is. So this was a drawing that I did for myself and a bunch of some friends that I played Minecraft with all the time. And I drew our Minecraft avatars in this same kind of cube style. And that's just kind of how I practiced drawing three-dimensional shapes, and that ended up helping me a lot when I was trying to draw much more fluid shapes and stuff that wasn't as square and nice as this, because squares and cubes are easy to draw in three-dimensional space. When you start drawing like this, you draw a square and you're looking at it straight on, and then you draw a square and you've got it at a square, and you've got it at an ever so slight angle like that. You draw another square and you've got it at slightly more of an angle, and you just keep on turning this shape a little bit more every time until you can start to fully realize that it is actually not just a square, it's actually a rectangle very similar to the one we drew down here. Now at this point, it's begun to face us this direction, so they're facing us at the same angle every time vertically, but then they're facing us at a different angle. It just goes from this point through to this, and then from this point to this one as we kind of rotate it. And when you figure out how to rotate that in your mind, and I can draw what you're seeing in your mind with just these basic shapes, that's going to help you a lot in the future when you get into drawing stuff like hands and faces and heads and all this stuff that is a lot more detailed and difficult to draw in the first place, but then also difficult to draw at different angles. So that'll help a lot. Now let's flip over to some basic color theory. So these are going to be your 6 primary colors right here. You've got yellow, red, and blue, which are your regular primaries, and you have orange, green, and magenta, which are going to be your like secondary colors. And these colors combined create everything. So blue and red create purple, blue and yellow create green, yellow and red create orange. And then they kind of, I don't have this on my copy paper, so they're not going to blend very well, but they're going to kind of blend in together to make every color in between. Now, there's a couple of things that you should note about this. So we're going to go back to our original colors of yellow, green, orange, red, magenta, blue. There's a lot of things you have to keep in mind when you're putting together color on a paper. You want to make sure that everything matches, or that it goes together. Not necessarily matches, but goes together. So one thing that goes well with any color are the 2 colors next to it. So for instance, for magenta, red and blue are both going to go well with magenta because it's on both sides of it, and they actually make the purple that is in between the red and blue. Now with purple, if we're using purple as our basic, you can use any color, and these colors unfortunately all kind of go together just because they're all kind of the same vibrant hue. But in general, if you're wanting to pick colors, you can pick colors that go with it. If you just have a couple of colors, pick colors either directly to the side of your main color, and then you have another one directly opposite the color wheel. So because we have magenta here, yellow is the opposite of purple, that's where it's going to be, that color is going to complement because it's on the opposite side of the color wheel, and it kind of balances it out, if that makes sense. And you just got to kind of experiment, find out what you like, and find out what is generally liked more. But from what I've been able to see and discover on my own, adjacent colors on the color wheel and opposite colors on the color wheel tend to go well. So that's going to be pretty much the very basic little bit of this crash course type thing. We went over the 5 basic shapes that you can draw pretty much anything with. Basic perspective, where you can kind of merge everything into one vanishing point. Some basic perspective with like cubes. If you want to practice perspective, I would definitely recommend practicing with cubes and with like rectangular solids like this. Colors, I just kind of experiment with that. Whatever happens to work for you, go for it. Try to figure out what other people like, what you like seeing, what colors mix and don't mix well together. And then finally, the last thing I'm going to say, if you want to try practicing, go find someone on the internet or in a drawing book or whatever and copy their art. Now don't just trace their art. So you don't want to just trace over their little stick man because you think their stick man is the most amazing thing ever. That's not going to be good. That's not going to grow. But if you take your stick man and you say, copy the stick man on another piece of paper, you might find that, oh, I like round noses better. I like to do round noses and angled mouths. And that's what you gotta do. Just gotta experiment and try different things. Look at other people's art and pull what you like and don't like from their stuff. I used to draw a lot of swords and copy those out of books. Yeah, I copied these out of books, out of like a history book about weaponry, and it helps a lot because you can look and you can see what real weapons are like, and that can help you when you're designing your own. Copied Ray when The Force Awakens first came out. I paused that. I had that pause on the airplane for like 2 hours. And then this one here I drew is the round eyes with the highlights that I really enjoyed drawing. So I copied that as well, but then I also draw completely differently to these two things. So you just gotta kind of pick and choose what you like and don't like. And that's kind of how, because everything's been done before. There's nothing that you're gonna do that hasn't been done before. So just pick and pull from stuff that you see that you like, and that's kind of how you develop your own art style, just by practicing and determining what you like and what kind of combination of shapes and colors you enjoy drawing. So that's going to be it from me for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!